First of all, let me take...
We're not going anywhere.
Right, exactly. Well, we're going into the movie.
To the movies.
Hi.
We're about to go see... What's the name of this movie?
The Bad Times at the El Royale.
I'm very excited. I love Drew Goddard. I love most of the people in this movie, like John Hamm.
The ones that people know. A lot of them
Right.
There's a lot of randos in this.
I'm excited to see Dakota Johnson in something other than 50 Shades of Grey.
I'm excited to see Chris Hemsworth because honestly, I feel like he's a very underrated actor because
Yeah,
and he
I
looks
agree.
great in
people
this.
are like, oh, he's just Thor or whatever. But like, if you've watched Rush,
Rush is great.
Rush is amazing. Rush is so good. And then I feel like
So good.
so great.
It's so great.
I'm excited to see his more range. You feel like he's playing a little villainy in this one.
Yeah, I love that clip of him dancing in the rain in the
Yeah.
trailer. That's so cool. I'm really excited to know what the fuck this movie is about.
Me too. I really don't know.
Yeah.
And I can't wait.
Yeah, I just want to know what's going on.
We'll see what happens.
We shall see. We're going to go watch the movie now.
Ready?
Yep.
You fucking ready for this?
I'm ready. We're not spoiling.
We can do a spoiler section at the end, but it's just hard to talk about this movie without, you know. So we just got out of Bad Times at the El Royale. I guess we'll go around and say generally what we thought. When it started, I was really into this fucking movie. In fact, I was all ready to come out here and give this thing a fucking A. And then something happened somewhere in the middle. And it's not the movie that it set out to be or that it was at the start, and that was really disappointing. You can compare it best to The Hateful Eight meets The Hotel Artemis, which are two fucking average movies coming together to make a slightly better average movie.
I enjoyed the parts of it that you were meant to enjoy. Like, I enjoyed the action parts and the suspenseful parts, but there was just way too much downtime in this movie to keep my interest. I found myself playing Yahtzee while I was watching it because I can't sit there and watch people talk about the nothing and the same thing over and over again. The thing is, this movie does a thing where it showed you the same scenario like from 3 or 4 different perspectives, and like, but it also kept telling you the same story 3 or 4 different times.
Right.
So
Meanwhile, it's telling you the same story 3 or 4 different times, and there's 5 stories that you need to fully understand the plot.
Right.
And it doesn't get to those until the last half hour.
I really liked it, honestly. I guess I'm the odd man out here. Honestly, like, leaving the theater, I was like, this is probably an A, but as it's sitting with me, the more I think about it and the more I analyze it, the problems do start to rise up.
See, now, I was there with you. I really, honestly was in the middle. I said to you, I'm absolutely fucking riveted by this whole thing. Right around the middle section where big things start happening to some of the characters, I was so on board. I was ready for what it was going to do. And then Chris Hemsworth enters the movie.
Yeah.
And I think for me, that last 50 minutes or so is the drop-off. And just a different movie that didn't have anything to do with what we were built up for.
I do think Chris Hemsworth being added in was a little off. Not like, but at the same time, I really did enjoy his performance.
almost like, I feel like the way you're saying it is almost like as if you made it like a mini series, and it's like the first few episodes were building up to this, and then at the end, instead of like finishing out the story with what you started with, you brought in a new character, and it was just kind of like, well, what the fuck? Like, there are so many other questions I have from the earlier part that are unanswered.
And not that they're not answered, but the movie kind of sets out to tell you, like, oh, don't think of the obvious. Here's what it is on the surface level. But we have 2 hours and fucking 50 minutes. So let's, build on that. And then by the time you get to the end, you realize nothing has been built up. Nothing has gotten more complicated than what you initially saw. The only difference is that now you just have more plot rather than building on the plot. And I think you're right. Chris Hemsworth actually was really good in the movie.
Yeah.
He was a great villain. He chewed the scenery. The writing on him was so bad because you need pieces of what he did in the before time, from before they were in the hotel.
Yeah.
And you don't get that until much too late and far too little.
With that, all of that said, I do think there were a lot of really good shot scenes, some really good scenes with, where you're just like long pans and stuff like that, and I feel like a lot of angles were just definitely adding a lot of dramatic effect that really like sunk me into a lot of scenes.
Standout performances from the movie, and who do you think sucked?
Let's go.
I didn't care much for Darlene, the chick who was singing the whole time. I just felt like I got it. She can sing. Like it just felt very forced. A lot of that, and I don't like it when a movie tries to force me to like really care about a character, and especially when it's not giving me anything to care about. I really enjoyed John Hamm. I mean, I think that in the beginning of the film, his scenes were the most captivating. I just liked the way he spoke.
I agree with what you're saying. Darlene, I wasn't a big fan of. Again, like same reasons as you. I really didn't care much that they're kind of just shoving down your throat how she's just an amazingly talented singer. I didn't care much for Dakota Johnson. I feel like she didn't really give much depth. She had a very one-track plot. Favorite, other than John Hamm, would be Miles, the caretaker / housekeeper / bartender / whatever of the hotel. I saw some people online saying Tom Holland, basically. But yeah, his performance was definitely something I was not expecting. A lot of his scenes, I really felt his character was very believable. When he was confessing, or how he was just wanting to confess, and he was telling a lot without even saying things a lot of the time.
I got two that I really enjoyed. I like Jeff Bridges, but I think it wasn't really based on his character or even what he did. I just like to see Jeff Bridges in movies. And the same goes for John Hamm. I just feel like John Hamm is charming, and so I enjoy seeing him. I don't think anybody did anything particularly special in this movie. And the people who really could have, like you're talking about Miles, definitely could have, and I think did have a really good performance.
Yeah.
But his character arc is all over the fucking place.
It is.
Big reveals coming 2 minutes before the end of the movie, and it's not like you've been led to believe that this could be true.
Right. There's nothing that
right.
tells you. Yeah.
There are certain lines, and I think everybody here knows what I'm talking about, that come way the fuck out of nowhere. And it just doesn't work. And then when we're talking about Dakota Johnson, who I don't think is a particularly gifted actress, or at least I haven't seen anything yet that shows me that, they should have been the big plot of the movie, considering where it went in the third act.
Yeah.
You get the least time with them. You don't know anything about them compared to characters like John Hamm, whose story kind of fades away.
Yeah.
We get a whole hour developing that. And there's no reason for that. I'm going to give this a C+. I actually did walk out wanting to give it a B-, but the longer I talk about it, the angrier I'm getting about it. It's no Cabin in the Woods, and it's definitely not anywhere near the quality of Daredevil or Cloverfield, so I don't know what happened here. The writing was the problem. That's really disappointing, actually, because he was the reason I went to go see it.
As I said, I was very prepared walking out of the theater to give this an A. It's quite a drop off from the A. I'm going to go B-. Honestly, to put it simply, too many characters, not enough plot. Not saying that there weren't great performances as we've gone into, but I feel like similar to Hotel Artemis, which I haven't seen Hateful Eight, but it's a similar thing where you're just not getting a lot of backstory or really caring that much about certain characters because they didn't give you plot, or even the plot that they're giving you isn't really something that you care all that much about.
What do you think?
I'm also going to go with your grade of a C+. I mean, I'm not going to grade it any lower than that just because I did enjoy it at times. There are plenty of other movies that I've seen that I really didn't enjoy, and I gave, similar grades to. I did like a lot of the cinematography, which we talked about. There were a lot of really cool scenes. I liked the music that wasn't being sung by the girl. Like there's a whole scene where they played Hush by Deep Purple, and it was just that was really like a great part of the movie. Like as soon as they put it on, I was like, ooh, I was like, I like this. And to watch Chris Hemsworth dance to it, it was just that really, I enjoyed that. But like there was like, I wish it was more of that.
Right.
And less
more
of
fun.
yeah, more fun in like a creepy way.
Yeah.
And less of this, you know, like you're saying, like just too many characters and too many motivations, but none of them seem to really make sense.
Because the thing is, the direction is there. It's very well directed. It's well acted. It's just
Well shot.
right.
Just bad writing.
Yeah, somebody took a first draft of their script and was like, yeah, shoot it. That's fine. Let's jump into spoilers, though, because there's a lot of things that are cool in this movie that we can talk about, and some things that are kind of dumb.
For me, it was basically the reveal of the two-way mirrors.
Yeah, that was cool.
When John Hamm goes behind the mirrors and discovers everything, and he's kind of going from room to room with and without the audio from the room, and then goes down to the camera and back and forth. And honestly, that entire scene for me was really great. They, you know, the use of sound, the use of darkness. For me, like, I really enjoyed that scene. I thought it was beautifully done.
And that's a director who knows what he can get from his actors, because the whole thing is acted without speaking.
Exactly. It's all action based.
Right.
And John Hamm.
Right. And you're watching it and you're, what the fuck is happening? You know, that was the part where I was like, this is, you know, this is A+ material. This is a fucking movie.
I guess like not so much a part as like a plot point or whatever you want to say, but I enjoyed when you saw how John Hamm was killed, like from 4 different perspectives. Because when it happens right away, you're kind of like, holy shit, like I can't believe he just died. And then like you're taken back and allowed to kind of like decompress a little bit and see it from like another standpoint. And it was just, that was at least like kind of interesting to me, the way that they did that. Original thought about Dakota Johnson's character was like totally like wrong, because you go into it thinking that she kidnapped somebody because she pulls a girl out of her trunk, but once you realize that the girl is her sister and she was doing it, she kept saying, I'm gonna get you clear. It's actually like, wow, that, like, I guess that's probably the best case scenario that could have happened in if you were to tell me what was going on in this scene. That was the best thing I could have come up, that you could have come up with, and to make me like not hate her character.
It definitely reveals a lot about that character and why she's just acting fucking insane.
Yeah.
Like the whole, and you're just like, oh, okay.
What did you think the fucking state line meant? Because we talked about this a little bit, and they keep bringing up, oh, Nevada, California, black and red. But we don't go any deeper than that.
I feel like they wanted to play around with the idea that like Nevada was like Sin City, like, you know, the place where people go, you know, to do bad things, like debauchery and things like that. And then you have California, which is almost like the exact opposite, because it's like the Sunshine State, the place of opportunity, like, you know, the sparkling, whatever they always say, like, you know, the streets sparkle and whatnot and all that stuff. So I thought it was interesting that they kept trying to make, I felt like, those parallels, even with just the way that the hotel was like designed. The California side was all yellow and orange and warm and inviting, and then the Nevada side was like blue and purple and like dark and mysterious kind of. And I felt like that's what like they wanted everybody to kind of fit into.
And that even goes into Chris Hemsworth and his only exposition scene in the whole movie. That's his speech. You pick between right and wrong, and which one do you want to be? And then you have shots like the sister walking over the red line, and you physically see there's black on the one side, there's red on the other side, and she's walking the thin line in the middle.
Towing the line.
Right.
Yeah.
I just feel like I kept waiting for this big payoff for all of these things.
They could have done more with it, I think.
The thing is, when I remember when we originally talked about, like, when we saw the trailers, we're like, oh, like, Chris Hemsworth, like, who is he? Is he, like, the owner of the El Royale? Or, like, is he, like, some big drug lord that, like, got everybody there? Like, you know, why is everybody there? Is he the one that got them all there? And then, like, I think to just find out that he was just, like, called to show up
somebody's boyfriend,
as someone's boyfriend, you're just kind of like a little disappointed. And I think that's probably why I didn't like that so much. I just wish that they did better with him, like as the actor. Like I think that he deserved more, and I think that the story lent itself to be so much more complex, and it was really just too simplistic. But it tried to be complex.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between just being complex and saying, "Wow, I really have to like think about this and figure this out," and being like, "Oh no, you know what? It's actually really simple, but I'm just gonna make you think like 6 different things." Even though the first thing that you thought was the right thing.
If you watch the trailer and we're like, oh, who is Chris Hemsworth? Any scenario that you came up with by yourself is cooler than what they do in this movie.
Agree.
And we even talked about it. What the fuck does he care about the money?
Chris Hemsworth has them tied up and bound and threatening to shoot them in the face. He's just asking, well, why is this money here? It's
right,
like,
why do you care?
What the fuck, who cares?
Take
has
it. That's
nothing
not
to do
even
with
why you came to the hotel.
Exactly. That's not why you're there. You literally had no idea that there was even money involved.
Right.
Until you got there.
Yeah. I feel like it's because his character's kind of just really enjoys the power trip. I feel like he enjoys being in control of everything.
And I
think
can
that's
understand
why
that.
he did it. Yeah, no,
as a character point, but that is not a plot point.
Yes.
As a characteristic, a character trait, fine, but don't make that the whole last 35 minutes of your movie, and then turn around and be like, well, that's how this character would have done. That's fucking great. I don't need to watch a movie about
Good.
that.
Why'd you put his character in the movie
Yeah.
then? I mean, because the thing is, you don't have any characters that you care about after John Hamm goes. Everybody else is a B character.
Yeah.
And the only thing that comes even kind of close is Jeff Bridges, and that's not even because of his character, it's because people like him.
I think that Jeff Bridges' character didn't really come to light until like much later in the movie too. So it's like it's hard to care about somebody that you really don't have a lot of information about.
Yeah, they definitely gave him a lot of emotional depth for essentially like a 30-second backstory. I do think people should see it. I do think it was a good time.
Yeah, I wouldn't say pay for it though. I'll
don't
never see
plan
this
on
movie
watching
again.
it.
I'm really disappointed in it, actually.
Yeah.
Bad times at the El Royale.
Go see Chris Hemsworth shirtless, and honestly, it's pretty fucking amazing.
I want to see A Star Is Born again. Bye.